Have you ever wondered what it really takes to become a master fencer? I mean, it's way more than just fancy swordplay, right? It's this incredible journey of discipline, of strategy. And today, we're going to walk through the official roadmap from the United States Fencing Coaches Association to see exactly how a fencer is built, from the ground up.
And boom, here it is. I know, at first glance, this chart looks, well, it looks like a lot. But I want you to stop thinking of it as a boring list of rules. Instead, think of it as a map for an epic adventure. Every single box, every term is a new skill you get to unlock, a new challenge to conquer on your way to becoming a true duelist. So that's the big question, isn't it? Where do you even start? And you know what? The answer is probably not what you'd expect. Before you even learn how to stand, you have to make a huge choice, a choice that's going to define your entire fencing career. And that choice is your weapon. See, in fencing, you don't just pick a sword, you pick a philosophy. You've got three totally distinct paths to choose from, and honestly, each one changes the game completely. Okay, first up, you've got the foil. This is the classic training weapon, and it's all about precision. The target area is limited, just the torso. But the most important thing to understand here is this concept of right-of-way. Think of it like this. Only one person can have the right to attack at a time. This rule forces a really clean tactical game. It's a back-and-forth conversation, preventing both people from just hitting each other at the same time. It's basically chess, but with swords. Then you have the épée. This is the descendant of the old-school dueling sword, and the rules are brutally simple. The entire body is a target from head to toe, and there is absolutely no right-of-way. Whoever hits first scores. That's it. This creates this incredible psychological tension. The bouts are super cautious, packed with suspense, where a single, perfectly timed touch to the wrist or even the foot can win the entire match. It's a real nail-biter. And finally, there's the saber. This one is based on the cavalry sword, and it is all about explosive, raw aggression. You can score by cutting with the edge of the blade, not just poking with the tip. It does have right-of-way, and that rule encourages these non-stop blistering attacks. The results? A complete blur of motion. It's this frenetic, super athletic sprint that's often over in just a few seconds. So, you've picked your path, foil, épée, or saber. Now what? Well, no matter what you chose, everyone starts in the exact same place, level 1. Think of this as learning the alphabet of fencing. You just have to master these basics before you can even dream of having a conversation with your blade. And here's the thing, these three elements are the absolute, non-negotiable foundation. You learn the proper on-guard stance, which is where all your balance and power comes from. You master the basic footwork, the advance, the retreat, the lunge. That's how you control the distance between you and your opponent. And of course, you learn the critical importance of safety and your gear. Just look at this starting position. The fencer's form is perfectly balanced, kind of coiled like a spring, ready to explode in any direction. Every single attack, every defense, every move you will ever make in a fencing match starts right here, from this stance. All right, let's move on up to level 2. Now that you've got that solid foundation, you get to learn the fundamental dialogue of fencing. This is where you learn how to ask a question with your attack, and just as important, how to give an answer with your defense. So at this stage, you're learning that core exchange, the simple attack, which is just a direct thrust, and its natural counter, the parry. That's where you use your blade to block, which is then immediately followed by a riposte, which is your own counterattack. You also learn a tricky move to get around that parry called a disengage. This is when you finally get to have your first real bouts. Now, what's so fascinating here is that even though the skills have similar names across the board, how you use them starts to become wildly different. A simple attack in saber, it's a lightning-fast, explosive lunge. But in épée, that exact same simple attack might just be a tiny, subtle extension towards your opponent's hand to see how they react. The weapon's personality really does change everything. Okay, getting to levels 3 and 4, this is a massive leap. If level 2 was about learning individual words, this is where you start forming complex sentences and even whole paragraphs. We're moving way beyond simple actions into deep, strategic sequences. This is where fencing truly earns its nickname, high-speed chess. Your whole mindset has to shift here. You're not just thinking about your next move anymore. Nope. You're thinking 2, maybe 3 moves ahead. You're baiting your opponent, you're setting traps, you're planning for what they might do in response to your action. Fencers call this second intention, and it's a total game changer.
And this is a perfect example of how the strategies split apart. In foil and saber, with those right-of-way rules, a key tactic is the counter-riposte. That's when you parry your opponent's counterattack and hit them back. But in epee, without right-of-way, a common move is the counterattack in opposition. You're actually hitting your opponent while they're attacking you and using your blade to block them at the same time. See, two different problems requiring two very different solutions.
And that brings us to the top, the absolute pinnacle, level 5. This is where fencing really transcends technique and becomes an art form. The moves you've practiced thousands and thousands of times are now pure instinct. Your mind is finally free to focus on the deep stuff, timing, psychology, and pure improvisation.
Let's pull a term from the chart to show you what I mean. In epee, there's a move called the double envelopment. I mean, it sounds complicated, right? It's this incredibly fluid action where you make two circles with your blade to completely trap and deceive your opponent's weapon right before you land the touch. We're talking about pure control. Or how about this? In foil and saber, a key skill is the change of rhythm. A master fencer doesn't just move at one speed. They'll suddenly slow their footwork way down or instantly speed up their blade work, and in doing so, they completely shatter their opponent's timing, creating an opening that just wasn't there a second ago. They're literally manipulating time.
So what it all boils down to is this. At the elite level, a fencing bout isn't just a sequence of moves you memorized. It becomes this dynamic physical conversation. It's about reading your opponent's intent and adapting your own plan in a split second, all based on instinct that's been sharpened over years and years of practice.
And so here we are, back where we started. You've got the tactical foil, the tense epee, and the explosive saber. 3 weapons, 3 totally different philosophies, but they all share one single journey. From that very first on-guard stance all the way to the highest levels of mastery. So we've walked the map together, from the very first step to that final winning touch. We've seen how a fencer is built, layer by layer, from the ground up. Which leads me to the final question for you. If you were standing on that strip, ready to begin your journey, which path would you choose? Would you be the strategist, the duelist, or the aggressor?